The stranger in the celled hallway was cold, not because of the metal walls, but because of the silence. Commander Raynor had been here many times, military base OMEGA-7. Hidden under the surface of Mars' third moon, a place where secrets go to die. He walked past rows of empty cells, the lights flickered above, buzzing softly. His boots echoed on the steel floor. Cell to 9, he stopped. It wasn't supposed to be in use. This wing was shut down last year. Too risky, they said, unstable energy lines. Raynor knew the excuses, but today, something felt wrong. He paused. The hair on his arm stood up. A sound, soft, almost like breathing. He stepped closer. Cell -9's door was sealed. An old-fashioned key panel blinked red. But Raynor had override codes. He tapped the screen. Code denied. What? He tried again. Code denied. Again. He frowned. Only top clearance could lock out a commander. Only the generals, or he pulled out a small device from his jacket. A black cube, military issue override unit. He pressed it to the panel. A short beep. Then a hiss. The door slid open. The smell hit him first. Blood, oil, something else. Inside. Shadows moved. Raynor stepped in, hand on his sidearm. Then he saw it, a body. Chained to the far wall, tall, armored, not human. Raynor froze. An alien. Alive. Barely. Its armor was cracked, skin dark blue, marked with scars, for eyes. But only two were open. And they were looking at him. The alien spoke. You came back. Raynor's blood ran cold. Who are you? He said, aiming his pistol. The alien smiled, weakly. You don't remember me, but I remember you. Phallus Prime, 5 years ago, you would've died if not for me. Raynor searched his memory. A mission, ambush, a blur of plasma and fire. A figure dragging him out. Could it be? You saved me? He asked, still not lowering his weapon. Yes, the alien said. My name is Vale, warrior of the Karnath. We were allies once. Raynor stepped back. This is a human base. How did you get here? Who locked you in? Vale's eyes closed for a moment, then opened again. Your people, your leaders, they called it Project Lazarus. Raynor's heart skipped. He had heard that name before, once, buried in old mission files, redacted. Wiped from the mainframe, no details. Why would they capture you? Raynor asked. Val looked down. Because I know the truth, they didn't want me to speak. I saw what they did, the bombings, the betrayals. They blamed others. They blamed us. Raynor lowered his weapon just a little. Why are you telling me this? Because you're not like them. You still ask questions. And because they're going to kill me soon. Raynor looked around. The cell was shielded, no cameras. Someone had gone through a lot of trouble to hide Vale here. Who knows you're here? He asked. No one who will speak, Vale answered. Not unless you make them. Raynor felt the weight of the moment. He shouldn't be here. This was treason, but his gut told him something was wrong, deeply wrong. He turned to leave. Wait, Vale said. Raynor stopped. If you walk away now, they win. And you'll never know the truth. Raynor hesitated. I need proof, he said. Val nodded. Then go to sublevel 3, data room Sigma. There's a hidden terminal passcode, Delta-9-7. Find the file named Ghost Sun. You'll understand. Raynor memorized the words. As he stepped out of the cell, the door hissed shut behind him. He didn't look back. But in the darkness, Vale whispered to himself, he will come back, he has to. Asterisk secrets the government buried. Commander Raynor couldn't sleep. He sat alone in his quarters, lights dim, a cold mug of coffee untouched on the table. His eyes were fixed on the floor, but his mind was deep inside Cell 9. Replaying every word the alien said. Project Lazarus, Ghost Sun, sublevel 3. He had to know the truth. But if Vale was right, someone powerful was hiding something dangerous. And if Raynor pushed too far, he might disappear, just like Vale had. He opened his private comms panel, offline, strange, OMEGA-7 never lost signal. Unless someone wanted it silent. He grabbed his jacket, slid a pistol into the side holster, and stepped out. The hallway was quiet. Too quiet. To soldiers past him, their eyes cold, expressions blank, didn't even salute. He kept walking, trying not to look nervous. Sublevel 3 was supposed to be shut down due to radiation leaks. But Raynor knew that was a lie. Nobody ever told him what was really down there. Now he was going to find out. He reached the lift, swiped his ID. Access denied. Expected. He removed a small card from his boot. Stolen from a dead technician during a past mission. It had old level access. Maybe enough. He slid it in. Access granted. The lift doors opened and he stepped inside. As it descended, the hum of the machine grew louder. The lights flickered. Just like in the cell block, everything down here felt forgotten. The doors opened. With a heavy clunk. Darkness. A red emergency light blinked slowly across the hall. Dust in the air, no guards, no sound. He pulled out a flashlight and moved forward, heart racing. Room after room was empty, old equipment, broken screens, shattered glass, but then a metal door. With a faded label, Data Room Sigma he typed in. The passcode Vale gave him, Delta-9 7th keypad blinked green. The door opened with a loud creak. Inside, it smelled like dust, oil, and something older like history buried too long. He sat at the console and powered it on. The screen flickered, loading old files. Come on, after a few minutes, he found it. File name, Ghost Sun Clearance, Black Level Only warning. Unauthorized access punishable by death. Hesitated. Then tapped override. The screen flashed. Then the video began. It was footage. 5 years ago, Valis primed a squad of humans, pinned down. Alien fire everywhere, screaming, chaos. Then the camera turned. Val. He was fighting beside the humans, protecting them, shielding one injured soldier, Raynor himself. The scene jumped. Now, humans and Karnath warriors, Vel's people, standing together, in peace. A treaty was being signed, leaders on both sides shaking hands. But then, an explosion. Screams. The humans opened fire, the aliens, unarmed, were slaughtered. It wasn't an attack. It was an execution. Raynor stared. In horror. The voice of a general played in the background. This will end the war. One clean strike, no loose ends. The file ended with a list of cover-up operations. The name at the top, Project Lazarus, initiate complete erasure, remove Vale, blame alien faction. Silence witnesses. Raynor single quotes as hands shook. His government betrayed their allies, framed them, and locked the only witness, Vale, in a hidden prison cell. And now, Raynor knew. Suddenly, the lights shut off. Damn it, he turned, pulling out his pistol. A red laser. Appeared on his chest. Don't move, a voice said. 3 soldiers entered. Black armor, faces hidden, special unit. Not regular military, Commander Raynor, one said. You've seen too much. He raised his gun, they fired, he dove behind the console, sparks flew. Bullets shattered screens, he crawled under the desk. Threw a smoke grenade from his belt. Thick white fog filled the room, shots fired blindly. Raynor burst through a side door, sprinting into the hall. Alarms rang out. The base was waking up. But not to help him, to hunt him. He had one option left. Get back to Vale. As he ran through the corridors, dodging patrols and scanning faces, he saw it clear now. He wasn't the hero anymore, he was the target, deep underground. In Cell 9, Vale opened his eyes, his chains glowed faintly, his strength was returning slowly. And somehow, he knew. Raynor had seen the truth, and now, everything was going to change. Betrayal in uniform. Raynor ran, his breath sharp, his heart pounding. The base behind him was no longer home, it was a hunting ground, cameras tracked his movement. Soldiers he once trained now followed silent orders to shoot on sight. He had nowhere left to hide. But one name echoed in his mind like a lifeline, Colonel Briggs, his mentor. His commander, his father in all but blood, if anyone could help. It was him. 20 years ago, Briggs had pulled Raynor from a battlefield on Europa, raised him through the ranks, taught him loyalty, duty, and how to survive when the world turned gray. Raynor owed him everything. But now, he needed the truth. He reached Briggs' private quarters in the command tower. Bypassed the scans. No alarms yet. Maybe Briggs had paused the security net, or maybe someone else had. He stepped in. Gun drawn. The room was dark, silent. Then a voice from the shadows. You shouldn't be here, son. Raynor flinched, not because of the voice, but because of the tone, flat, cold. Not the Briggs he knew. They're hunting me, Raynor said. And you know why? Briggs stepped into the light. Older than Raynor remembered, tired not from age, but from carrying secrets too long. You saw the file, Briggs said, not asking, stating, Ghost Son. Raynor nodded. It was murder. Briggs didn't argue. He walked to the desk, poured 2 glasses of whiskey, offered one. Raynor didn't take it. They were allies. Raynor continued, Vale saved me, and you knew. Briggs stared into the glass. I knew. He said quietly, I was there. The silence between them was heavier than gunfire. Why? Raynor asked. Why betray them? Why lie to the world? Briggs took a long sip, then spoke. Peace doesn't make empires, Raynor. War does. The High Command needed a final enemy. Something to unite the colonies, something to fear. So you made one. We didn't create the war. We just ended it our way. Raynor's voice cracked. How many died? Briggs looked up, eyes red. Haunted. Too many, but it worked. We got our peace. And your career. Raynor stepped back. Disgusted. You used me. I protected you. Briggs snapped. You were never meant to see that footage. And Vale? Raynor asked. You locked him away like an animal. He was a risk. He remembered too much. Raynor clenched his fists. He didn't ask for revenge. He asked for help. Briggs looked at him long, quiet, then said, You're going to try to save him. I already am. Briggs sighed. Then you're a traitor now, Raynor, just like him. A sudden beep echoed in the room. The base had found Raynor's location. Briggs Didn't move, just handed over a small chip. Take this, it'll unlock the outer defense gate. Get to the surface, but after that, you're alone. Raynor stared at him. Why help me? Briggs answered without looking up, because once, I believed in the same things you do. And maybe, you'll fix what we broke. No goodbyes. No salutes. Just an old man and his mistakes. Raynor ran. He moved fast now. Back into the dark corridors, alarms blaring overhead, soldiers swarming every level. But he knew the weak points, shortcuts, old tunnels from the original construction. Paths no one used anymore except ghosts. As he neared the lower cell block, static hit his earpiece, a voice, faint, distorted. Commander, they're coming. Vale. Raynor reached the cell. The doors were blown open, sparks flew from damaged circuits. Inside, no one. Chains broken, blood on the floor. But not Vale's, to dead soldiers. Burn marks on the walls. Raynor followed the trail. Down, deeper into maintenance shafts. Firelight flickered ahead. Then he saw him. Val. His armor half restored, his eyes glowing dimly. His hands still steaming from energy blasts. They tried to move me, Vale said. I stopped them. Raynor stepped forward. I saw everything. I believe you. Val's gaze hardened. Do you still trust your people? I don't know, Raynor said. But I know who not to trust. He handed Vale the chip. We need to get off this base. Vale looked at it. Once I leave this place, they will hunt us both, forever. Then we give them something to be afraid of, Raynor replied. Vale smiled. The first true smile Raynor had seen from him. A bond was forming. Not just between man and alien, but between two survivors of the same lie. Above them. In the control room, Colonel Briggs watched the security feed. He turned to a shadowy figure beside him, face hidden, wearing a black badge marked OMEGA. Division, they're moving, Briggs said. You were right. The figure nodded. Good, let them run. Why? Briggs asked. Because, the figure said, voice like static. We want to see how far they'll go before they break. Escape. Plan Alpha. The plan wasn't perfect, but it was all they had. Raynor studied the map on the stolen datapad, old schematics of Omega 7. Back when it was just a mining facility, before the war, before the lies. Beneath the base was a forgotten tunnel, a ventilation shaft that once connected the prison wing to an old or transport bay far beyond the security gates. It was their only exit. Val stood beside him, silent. His eyes scanned the hallway ahead, listening not just with ears, but with instincts built through war. How much time before they find us? Raynor asked. Val didn't blink. Not long. They moved. They slipped past the corpse of a broken security drone, still sparking from Val's earlier attack. Blood still drying on the walls. Raynor checked every corner, every shadow. Paranoia had become second nature. They reached the maintenance elevator. It hadn't worked in years. Manual override, Raynor muttered. He pried open the shaft doors. With a crowbar, metal groaned. Darkness stared back. We jump, he said. Vale tilted his head. You humans are reckless. Raynor grinned slightly. We call it courage. 20 meters down. They landed hard on the steel rails. Vale landed first. Caught Raynor mid-fall. A brief nod passed between them. From there, they followed the tunnel. Dust rose with each step. Their lights barely touched the walls. Pipes leaked. Water dripped like a ticking clock. Then noise. Behind them, distant, but growing louder. Pursuit. Vale turned sharply. They're coming, faster than I expected. Raynor muttered. They're not soldiers, Vale said. They're hunters. Raynor stopped. What? Vale's eyes narrowed. Black Talon squad, cybernetic killers. No mercy, no orders, just targets. Raynor clenched his jaw. Great. They reached a sealed tunnel door. This leads to the old Orbe, Raynor said. We blasted open. And we're out. Not yet, Vale said. He pointed up to a side panel. If we open this door, they'll trace the energy spike. We need to distract them. With what? Raynor asked. Val stepped forward. Me? Raynor grabbed his arm. No, we go together. Vale looked at him. You're not ready to face them, he said. But I am. Raynor shook his head. You're still healing. So are you, Vale replied. A moment passed. Two warriors, one human, one alien, each willing to risk everything for the other. Then Raynor nodded. Double quotes. Fine. But you're not going alone. Minutes later, alarms triggered. Explosions echoed across sublevel 6. Black Talons stormed into the tunnels, only to find fake heat signatures and empty corridors. By the time they realized it was a trick, Raynor and Vale were already in the Orbe. The Orbe was dead space now, abandoned. But it had one working crawler. A 6-wheeled mining vehicle once used to haul rock to the surface transport. Rails, how old is this thing? Vale asked. Raynor grinned. Older than both of us, but she's still got soul. They climbed in. Raynor fired the engine. The crawler roared, coughing smoke, and rolled forward. A long tunnel stretched ahead. It sloped upward, curving toward the surface. Freedom was close, too close. Because behind them, deep in the tunnel, red lights appeared. Black talons. 6 of them, fast, armed, in pursuit. Val turned the rear cannon toward them. You drive, he said. I'll do the rest. The chase began. Bullets tore through the tunnel walls, sparks flew. The crawler shook. Val fired plasma bolts from the mounted gun, but the talons were smart, dodging, splitting, flanking. They're too fast. Raynor shouted, then drive faster, Val replied. The crawler hit a bump, the engine groaned. They were almost at the final checkpoint, a security door still closed. Raynor cursed. We need it open. Val climbed out mid-motion onto the side panel, sparks flying around him. He reached the control box and drove his fist into it. A burst of alien energy pulsed through his arm. The door jolted, sparks, then the gate opened. They burst through into daylight. The crawler skidded onto the rocky surface of the moon. Wind howled, debris flew. The stars above looked cold and distant, but they had made it. Almost. A black talon leapt onto the crawler roof. Val grabbed it midair. The two crashed to the ground. Locked in brutal combat. Raynor stopped the crawler and ran back. Val was bleeding. The talon's claws were deep, metal limbs moved like snakes. Raynor aimed and fired, a direct hit to the talon's neck. It sparked, twisted, and fell. Val stood slowly, wounded, but alive. Raynor reached him. Next time, he said, panting. We ride in silence. Val gave a weak laugh, agreed, as they disappeared into the wastelands beyond the base. Omega-7 began locking down. Inside the command center, Colonel Briggs stood alone, silent. A screen behind him played security footage of the escape. Then, a voice on the intercom, target has breached outer ring, orders, a cold female voice answered. Initiate protocol Duskfall, bring them back, or bury them. Briggs said nothing. He just watched the stars outside and whispered to himself, this war is far from over. The Hunter Squad. The crawler died at dawn. Smoke poured from its cracked engine. Hissing against the frozen ground, Raynor punched the dashboard, but it was no use. They'd pushed the old machine too far. We walk from here, he muttered, grabbing his gear. Val stepped out beside him, his armor dimmed, his breathing slow. The wound from the black talon hadn't fully healed. Deep red lines spread across his shoulder, pulsing like fire under skin. You're hurt, Raynor said. I've survived worse, Val replied, but his steps were heavier now. They looked out across the landscape. A dead valley stretched in every direction, sharp rocks, endless dust, skies dark with storm clouds. Nowhere to hide, and the hunters were coming. Behind them, back at Omega-7, the black talons were already moving. Faster than any human, stronger than any normal soldier, part machine, part killer, built for one thing only, track, kill, repeat. The squad leader, Unit 0 to 3, scanned the trail. Target changed course, it said. 2 kilometers northeast, minimal cover, 2 life forms, 1 injured. Its faceplate reflected a red glow as it raised its arm. Permission to engage granted, full lethal. The hunt began. 6 hours later, Raynor and Val reached the edge of an old crash site. Broken alien ships half buried in the dirt. Twisted metal, silent graves. This was from the early war, Val said. My people fought here, long ago. Raynor knelt near a fallen banner. A symbol of the Karnath people, dusty, torn, forgotten, and now it's just scrap, he said quietly. Val didn't answer. He placed one hand on the symbol, and for a moment, it glowed faintly. His voice was low. We died for peace, they erased us instead. Raynor looked at him. They didn't erase you. Val met his eyes. No, they buried me alive. They didn't get to speak more. A soft beep echoed from Raynor's belt. Motion sensor alert. He checked it. 6 signals, closing fast. They're here, he said. Val stood. Then we fight. They took cover behind an old shuttle wing. Raynor readied his rifle. Val's hands began to glow, energy building slowly. Like a storm waking up inside him. The ground trembled. Then shadows. The black talons appeared over the ridge, silent, armed, fast. They didn't speak. They attacked. The fight was chaos. Raynor fired first, hitting the lead talon in the shoulder. Sparks flew. It kept coming. Val launched a pulse of energy, knocking 2 into the dirt. But his wound slowed him. He staggered. Raynor covered him. Dropped another talon with a clean headshot. But the rest kept advancing, machine limbs slicing the air. Bullets ripping past their ears. One talon tackled Raynor to the ground. Its face was inches from his. Target confirmed. Execution. Val slammed into it from the side, grabbing its head and crushing it with raw force. The talon sparked, screamed, and went limp. Raynor rolled over, coughing. Double quotes thanks. We're not done yet, Val growled, but then sound. Deep, inhuman. A shape rose from the rocks. A new enemy. Taller than the rest, black armor, silver crest, red eyes burning like suns. Unit 0 to 1, the Alpha Hunter. It didn't speak, just moved forward, fast. Val stepped up. Go, now, not without you, Raynor said. You can't fight this one, Vale warned. Raynor looked at him. Neither can you. Vale's body glowed brighter. And then, for the first time, he transformed. His arms extended, skin turned to glowing metal, for eyes fully opened. Energy surged around him like lightning chained in a storm. Raynor stepped back. What are you? He whispered. Val didn't answer. He charged. The two titans collided. Metal on metal. Fire against fire. The earth shook. Raynor grabbed his gear and moved, circling wide, looking for a shot, a weakness. Anything. The Alpha Talon was faster, stronger. But Vale was something different now, something ancient, something angry. He roared, a deep, echoing sound that shook the bones. The Talon stabbed forward, metal blade driving into Vale's side. Vale grabbed its arm and ripped it off. The Talon screamed in binary static. Val turned, blood pouring down his armor. Raynor now. Raynor fired, a perfect shot. The bullet hit the core and the Talon's exposed chest. The machine jerked and exploded. Silence. Dust settled. Val dropped to one knee, gasping. Raynor ran to him. Stay with me, I'm fine, Vale lied. Raynor checked the wound. It wasn't fine, we need to get out of here before more come. Vale looked up. Weak but alive, there's a cave system, he said. North, my people once hid there, then we move. As they disappeared into the shadows of the canyon. High above them, a stealth drone tracked every step. Back at OMEGA-7. Colonel Briggs watched the live feed. But he wasn't alone, the woman beside him wore black. Her badge read, Omega Division, Operations Director Celine Voss. He's changing, she said. Briggs nodded. He's becoming what they feared. Good, Celine replied. Let the world see what they buried. And Raynor, Briggs asked. Celine turned, smiling coldly. Let him walk beside the monster. We'll burn them both when the time is right. The truth broadcast wind howled like a warning. Raynor and Vale stood at the edge of the old cliffs, the sky above them dark, heavy with storm clouds, lightning flashing in slow rhythm. Beneath them, half buried in rock and time, was a rusted tower. A rebel outpost. Long abandoned, but still intact. This was where the war once began, and, if they were lucky, where the lies would end. You're sure it still works? Raynor asked, brushing dust off a broken terminal. Val nodded slowly. The rebels used this place to send untraceable signals, galactic wideband. If it still has a working power core, we can reach every colony, every fleet, every civilian on the grid. Raynor stared up at the structure. The antenna leaned sideways, damaged but standing. Cables dangled like vines, pieces of metal flapped in the wind. Then let's wake the dead. Inside the tower, it was colder. They moved carefully, passing skeletons of old equipment and skeletons of former soldiers. Not everything here died from time. This place was attacked, Raynor said, examining a melted control panel. Someone didn't want anyone speaking. Vale placed a hand on the wall. It hummed beneath his fingers. Weak, but alive. The core is still here, underground. Raynor found the hatch, opened it. Dark stairs descended below. After you, he said. Always, Vale replied. 2 hours later, the main transmitter came to life. Screens lit up, the broadcast array blinked green. Raynor uploaded the files. The hidden truth from Project Lazarus, Ghost Sun. The betrayal of the Carnith. Names, dates, orders, everything. Almost there, he muttered. Just need a clean line. Vale stood by the window, watching the distant valley. They're coming, he said. Raynor didn't look up. How many? All of them. Omega Division had found them. A full dropship was inbound, loaded with black talons, drones, and elite shock troopers. Raynor's broadcast wasn't just a risk anymore. It was a direct threat to the most powerful leaders in the human military. They wouldn't let the truth escape, not without blood. Raynor finished setting the signal route. 10 more minutes, he said. Then the entire galaxy knows what they did. Vale walked toward him, his energy still flickering, his wound not fully healed. They'll destroy the tower. They can try, Raynor replied. Vale stared at the human, the soldier who once pointed a gun at him. Now they stood side by side. You're different than the others, Vale said. Not really, Raynor replied. Just tired of lies. The ground shook. Outside, the dropship landed. The enemy poured out like shadows, armored, fast, emotionless. They surrounded the base. A voice echoed through the valley, amplified and cold. This is Omega Division. Command, surrender now, destroy the files, and we will give you a clean death. Raynor raised an eyebrow. Generous. Vale powered his arm cannons. What's the plan? Hold the tower, Raynor said. No matter what. They set traps, explosives along the lower walls. Mines in the stairwell. Auto turrets hacked to fire at anything not coded to Raynor's signature. Then they waited. Rain started falling. Slow, steady, almost peaceful. Val looked at the sky. In my world, rain was rare, sacred. We thought it meant something was being forgiven. Raynor looked at him. What about now? Vale smiled faintly. Now? I think it just means something's about to die. The first wave hit hard. Drones exploded against the tower shields. Black talons burst through the doorways and into fire. Traps lit up the room. Metal screamed. Bodies flew. Vale fought like a storm unleashed. His powers fully returned. Energy blades cut through steel. Walls cracked under his fury. Raynor covered him, shooting precisely, conserving every bullet. The two moved like a single unit, but the waves didn't stop. Every time they cleared one, another came. Raynor's rifle clicked empty. Val was bleeding again, and the enemy kept climbing. Then they heard it. The hammer, Unit 0-0, the final black talon. The first ever built, pure kill code, nearly indestructible. It didn't speak, it didn't stop. It didn't think. It just moved. Straight up the tower, through fire, bullets, and broken machines. Vale met it head on. The tower shook from their clash. Raynor reached the control room. Activated the signal, broadcast starting in 3 minutes. Below him, the final battle raged. Val held the line, but the hammer was winning, blow after blow. Crack after crack, Val's armor broke, his shoulder shattered, blood ran freely. Raynor saw it through the broken glass. And he made a choice. He ran. Not away, toward them. He tackled the hammer from behind, slamming a charged blade into its back. It roared. Turned. Punched him across the floor. Raynor spat blood, but got back up. You want silence? He shouted. Then kill me. The hammer grabbed him, lifted him off the ground. Squeezed. Ribs cracked. Vision blurred. Vale rose behind it, using everything he had left. One final surge. He grabbed the hammer's head and unleashed all his energy into it. Fire, light, sound. An explosion shook the tower when the smoke cleared. Vale stood. Barely. The hammer was gone. So was most of the roof. Raynor lay on the ground, unconscious, breathing shallow. In the control room, the signal reached 100%, upload complete. The truth was free. On every screen across the colonies, Vale's face appeared. Raynor's voice played. The crimes of the High Command were revealed, and nothing could stop it now. Later that night, in a quiet cave miles from the tower, Raynor woke up. His side hurt, his vision was blurred. But Vale sat beside him, silent, breathing slowly. We made it? Raynor asked. Val nodded. You spoke. They listened. And the war? Raynor asked. Vale looked out at the stars, just beginning. Back on Earth, chaos erupted. Government leaders denied everything. Protests spread. Generals vanished. And in the shadows, a new order formed, not to control truth, but to destroy those who spoke it. They had one final order: find Vale. Kill Raynor, erase everything. A hero's risked galaxy was awake. And angry. Within hours of the broadcast, rebel factions rose again. Protesters flooded the streets on human colonies. Military bases shut down their systems in fear. High Command denied everything. But it was too late. The truth was out. Vale was no longer a ghost. Raynor was no longer a soldier. They were symbols now, and symbols are hard to kill. In the darkness of a small, hidden camp on the edge of Titan's ruins, Raynor sat alone near a low fire. His ribs were still healing. He breathed slow. Every inhale reminded him he was lucky to be alive. Val stood at the cliff's edge, staring at the stars. The wind danced around his cape, the same one once worn by his fallen commander. They're hunting us, Raynor said, not looking up. They're afraid, Vale answered. Fear makes them dangerous. How long before they send something worse than talons? They already have. Vale tossed a small black disc onto the ground. It projected a hologram. Celine Voss, Omega Division Operations Director, appeared. Her face calm, eyes cold. Raynor. Vale, you've caused a fire we can't put out, but fire doesn't scare us, it sharpens our blades. Surrender now, or we end everyone who ever helped you. The cities you hide in, the children you inspire, the name you carry, your story ends now. The message ended. Raynor stared at the ashes in the fire. She's not bluffing. No, Vale agreed. She wants a war. What do we do? Raynor asked. Val looked at him. And said something Raynor didn't expect. We give her one. 3 days later, Vale and Raynor infiltrated an old relay station near the rings of Saturn, a forgotten stronghold once used by warlords during the early colony wars. Inside was a jump gate terminal capable of opening a direct path to Earth's orbit. You sure about this? Raynor asked. You wanted to stop them, Vale said. We can't do that hiding in shadows. Raynor sighed. We're going straight into the lion's mouth. Vale looked at him. We're going into its heart. They activated the gate. A swirling rift opened. Destination, Earth, Omega Division Command. Hidden inside Mount Asphodel, deep beneath the surface. A place so secure no outsider had ever set foot inside. Until now. Meanwhile, inside the command chamber, Celine Voss watched the rift signal spike. Incoming signature confirmed. Her aide reported. Two life forms, unauthorized jump gate usage, Voss smiled. They're bold. Should we intercept? She stood. No, let them come. She walked toward the war table. Tell the generals to prepare their last defense, the final infiltration. Began. Raynor and Vale emerged inside the outer ventilation system of Mount Asphodel. Alarms triggered instantly, but the duo was already moving. They dodged drones, neutralized guards. Hacked systems. This was no longer a rescue mission. This was Judgment Day. Vale's powers cut through doors like paper. Raynor disabled cameras, rerouted power grids, and uploaded a virus into Omega's communication network. Chaos spread. But time was running out. In the core chamber of the facility was the Omega mainframe, a living database of the truth they hadn't revealed yet, proof of every mission, every name, every lie. If they could reach it, they could end the regime permanently. They reached the core vault. But it was waiting for them. Celine Voss. In black tactical gear. No guards, no drones. Just her. You came, she said. You threatened innocents, Vale replied. They were never innocent, she snapped. They followed monsters like you. Raynor stepped forward. You're scared. You should be. Celine tilted her head. No, I'm ready. Then, from behind the walls, Omega prototypes stepped out. Not talons, something worse. Flesh-tech. Hybrids, part human, part machine, faster, smarter, and hungry. They surrounded the vault. Celine walked backward toward the door. Let's see how far your truth goes when you're both dead. She vanished, and the prototypes attacked. The last battle began. Raynor and Vale fought side by side again. But these weren't like the others. They adapted. Every move they saw, they countered. Val struck one, and it shifted form, turning his own energy back against him. Raynor shot another. It absorbed the round and duplicated. They were outnumbered. Outmatched, but not outwilled. Vale unleashed his core. The final stage of Karnath power. His skin became light. His voice echoed through dimensions. Time itself seemed to stutter. He tore through three prototypes like air. But the fourth struck Raynor. Bad. He fell, bleeding fast. Raynor, Vale roared. Raynor coughed blood. Do it, he whispered. Finish the mission. Vale froze. He looked down at the man who had once been his jail or now his brother. Then he did something he had never done before. He knelt. And offered his core. Karnath energy could heal. But only once. And only at the cost of the giver's life. Raynor realized what was happening. No. He shouted, grabbing Vale's arm. Don't you dare. Vale smiled. This is the only way. We can both make it. No, Vale said. Softly, only one of us was meant to speak for both worlds. He placed his palm on Raynor's chest. Light surged, and everything went white. When Raynor awoke, the prototypes were gone. The vault was open. The data was uploading, but Vale was gone. No body. Just the cape, folded neatly. And a whisper that echoed through Raynor's soul. Go on, brother, they will listen to you now. Days later, across every world, screens lit up again. This time, it wasn't hidden footage. It was Raynor. Scarred, calm, unbroken. He told the full story of Vale. Of the betrayal, of the sacrifice. He didn't beg for peace. He demanded justice. And the people listened. On the outskirts of a new city, a child stood looking at the stars. He pointed to one blinking faintly in the night. Mama, he said, is that the warrior from the stories? His mother smiled gently. Maybe, she said. Or maybe he's watching us now, waiting for us to be better, and somewhere in the stars. Unseen, the shadow moved, not dead, not gone, just waiting.